Mm-hmm. Hello and welcome to Spudcast. Today, I thought of something that seems pretty interesting to me. The topic is game or guide. What I mean, like, for game and guide. Game, it's like playing a game and having your own experiences and do whatever you want if there's like choices in it, or just you just want to do whatever. And then the guide is more of, there's like a whole guide, like you want to choose these certain paths to get this ending. Or like another example is just you like a let's play. Do you want to just watch someone play it and you just experience it with them instead of you playing the game by yourself?
So basically you're asking the question of, do you want your own experience, or do you want someone else's experience, or do you want someone to tell you what experience you want?
Yeah. That's where I'm going.
Because certain walkthroughs, they basically tell you every single little thing and what's right and what's wrong about a game through like each chapter or each thing, and then other ones just tell you how to play.
Because how I'm seeing it, like, do you rather see, like, on a website or just a web page, just someone who went through this whole experience and you want the same experience? But you're just reading it off, seeing just on paper or just whatever. Like, do you just want that exact ending or just exact thing that happened to you? Or do you just want to, like, figure out yourself? Like, oh, I figured out that if you kill this guy, this happens. Like, this door opens. Or if I leave this guy alone, nothing happens at all.
Can you just say, like, how in Doom there's a bunch of walls of secrets that can either give you, like, the chainsaw or a certain gun, or there's, like, a certain, like, enemy behind this door that you have to fight, versus, like, just running through it.
Like, if I'm playing, like, Doom, I don't know those things are there, or, like, just discover them. Like, I'm just messing around, or just, like, looking all around, just shooting, or just hitting something on the wall.
Yeah, but also, like, if you played Doom for the very first time without any walkthroughs, without even knowing anything of the game, like, back then when it was on PC, you wouldn't really have even known that there were secrets, because those weren't really common, and all you would think of is shooting everything and trying to survive the level.
Because for me, I like to have, like, my own experiences. Unless it's, like, a really big game that I don't really get, or it's just a game I just want to see how this happens or something like that. Like, I don't know.
But also it's... Because many people would rather, like, see someone else's experience, because that's why Let's Plays are popular, because people would rather not buy the game because it's too much for them, or they know they wouldn't be able to afford it, so they'd rather just see someone else play it. But then when they eventually, like, actually get the game, then they already know everything. So it's good because they did experience the game, but through someone else's, like, eyes.
Because for me, I do like Let's Plays because of I'm watching someone else play a game that I found an interest or not too much of an interest in to actually buy it, or just want to go that deep into, like, playing or just something like that. Because I'd rather just watch it all, just play through, instead of, like, slowly, like, figuring out things or just getting into it very slowly. Because I, like, never heard of it or just had no experience with it.
Like, for us, like, when Undertale came out, we didn't even know it existed, we didn't know the backstory, we didn't know any of this stuff, but we saw the Game Grumps playing it, and because we watched basically everything that Game Grumps played.
Because it was on Steam Train with very and Ross.
Yeah.
Which was a good one.
So we were basically just watching it. We didn't know anything about the game. And they even said, like, in the beginning, it's like, this is a really good game. It's an experience for yourself and all that stuff of, like, go play it before you watch us play it. But, like, neither of us were really interested in the game. Like, there was nothing really about it in the beginning of, like, we would pay the $10 to get it.
Because around that time, we only had, like, the laptop, and we weren't really much of... We were barely discovering more of the internet, going into YouTube, actually looking into, like, Kickstarter, and just seeing all, like, the gaming news.
No, because I already knew that YouTube existed, just didn't care about watching channels.
It's when we were getting more involved into it.
More interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, watch the whole entire, like, Steam Train Undertale series and loved it because, like, they did the voices, they did their own experience, and it was entertaining. If, like, me or my brother played it afterwards, like, it didn't feel like... I would probably still hear the voices, like, that Ross did for Papyrus, and then Barry just talked for freaking, what's his name?
Sans.
Yeah. Like, I would still hear that for that because that was my experience with the game before even playing it.
Because that's, like, another thing. If you're watching, like, a Let's Play, it's a whole other different experience. Because I love watching, like, the Game Grunts play, like, Aaron and Danny. Because I freaking love Aaron's voices. He is, like, a voice actor. And I just love it. And just him going through the game, playing it, doing his own voices. And if I played the game, like, by myself, I'm going to hear that voice, like, while I'm playing, or just reading the text that he read within that Let's Play. Because
it would still be your own experience, but you're adding the experience of watching it to your own. Like, you're like, you're adding the voices, you're adding that stuff, but not purely like what you would do in the game.
But for that, it feels more of, for me, it goes on the side of, like, the guide, like, the guided. Like, if you play, I don't know, like, Dark Souls, or, a good example for me was when they played The Adventures of Link. I was stuck in the beginning because I just didn't know what to do, or just one of the parts. And once I watched them get that far, or, like, do these things, I went back and actually figured it out and, like, enjoyed it more because they helped me, but I already knew what was going to happen. Because I still had my own experience, but it was still felt like a guide, like something that helped me.
Yeah, but also sometimes the guides can be good because if you're actually stuck, like, the actual reason why there's walkthroughs and stuff like that is to help you, not to make you play the game. Like, some people do actually only play the game through a walkthrough because they don't think that they can actually go through it. Like, Dark Souls, some people would probably just see the Let's Play, see the walkthrough, see that stuff, and then, like, play it that way because, like, that's said to be the easiest way. Like, having this armor or this weapon or this, like, stat.
Well, for, like, Dark Souls, it's good and bad. Like, I want to be the most powerful character in the game and get through it like a breeze. Or I want to challenge myself by only having the same weapon through the whole thing and having the same armor or something like that. You could just look it up and find it there instead of, like, just trying it out. which is kind of like just the guide, because this has just split me for a while. Just, do I just want to play games normally, or just watch it, or get a guide of what to do from there, or just how to play the game how it should be, as they say.
I don't know. Because both sides are good. Because one can, like, a guide can help you, but experiencing yourself, like, you found this thing. It was you who did it. It wasn't someone else. Like, we have an older brother who is better at video games than us, and when we were younger, we'd usually get stuck somewhere, and he'd pass it like nothing. So, when I actually, like, played a game by myself and beat it without my older brother's help, it was actually an accomplishment, and it actually felt good. Like, the times when my older brother helped me with those other games, it was still good, but it wasn't my accomplishment. Like,
yeah, like the part of the guide of holding your hand, like, okay, if I tell you this, or you find this, I'll help you. Like, if you're stuck here, okay, I'll look it up or ask someone. That guide part, like having someone else instead of just you figuring it out. Because I still like that. That's why I still play, like, the NES games, so I can figure it out on my own. Like, for, like, Castlevania, I figured out some of the things pretty quickly, and just the easiest thing is exploring or hit something. Because I have my own experience in it, instead of seeing it or just find it online of how to do it and where each thing is. Because it was pretty cool for, like, some of the games for their booklet to become, like, the guide. Because I was bored and I was looking through my Final Fantasy inbox with everything, and it gave you an actual guide through the whole story. Because I flipped through it so I wouldn't, like, know everything. It was just pretty neat. Like, you go here and here and talk to this person, or you could just pass right by them. And then there's just other things going, like, branching off, but still keeping the same central story of, like, you're still gonna end up here no matter what you do. And then that's, like, just the beginning to get the feel of it, and then the real game starts by saying Final Fantasy when you open, like, the bridge to the other island.
Yeah.
Which is, like, that's just really good. I like that. But I just didn't want to get, like, too far into the book, because it did have, like, images and just some of the enemies that you will encounter in these locations. And then he even said, like, if you wander off, like, around here or wander off too far, you're gonna fight higher level enemies than you. And I didn't really want to know that. I just wanted it to just happen. Because I'm okay with guides, but I still like my own experiences in games. Because the guide helps, but I'm not going to look at it unless I get really stuck. And then for a Let's Play, yeah, I would watch that, because it's Final Fantasy is still new to me. I never really played, like, RPGs. The only one I really got into but then fell out of it was just Star Ocean 2. Yeah, I think it's 2. But I'm still doing it when I get back onto, like, the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, but also, like, the difference between a Let's Play and an actual walkthrough is a walkthrough will actually tell you every single little thing to do or what they are doing to make it better, while a Let's Play is at times, like when the actual Let's Player knows the game, like for Zelda 2, that one, like, Danny actually played it before. It was one of his cherished games, so he actually knew like exactly what to do and all that stuff. So that was more of like a walkthrough / Let's Play. But then other games, like they're playing Dead Rising, they don't really know anything. So they only do like certain things because that's what they think can be done in the game. So that's more of like a Let's Play.
And then when they took breaks and everything, people did like help them, but I don't know if like some of them helped them too far by saying like you're gonna come across this boss if you come here, or use this weapon, and just let them figure out some of it. But for them, they're just really dumb because I've played Dead Rising for like much. Quite a bit, actually exploring and figure out things, and just seeing what fits for like the combinations, which I love.
Because like Dead Rising, if you didn't play with any walkthroughs, if you didn't really know much about it, and like you just played it by yourself, then it is like fun because it does show you the combinations, like the bat with the nails, and then later on, like you're interested in it because you're like, oh, I can combine other things, like I can combine the boxing gloves with the knives and make this. I can combine like different things, and you keep trying it because like there's different combinations. But then there's other people who would rather just know all the combinations, so they just go online and do a walkthrough, and it's like, oh, this one combines with this one combines with this one's good, this one's bad. But it's more fun to be like, oh, I got like a zombie arm, and it has the little combination thing, so you grab everything and you're like, what combines with it, and then you make a random weapon. And you don't care if it's good or bad because you're the one who's like, I made it, let's see what it can do.
Because that's what I liked, because I was a bit younger too. Because when I figured out, like, oh, this actually works, and I actually like this weapon. Like, for me and you, we could agree upon, like, the boxing gloves and the Bowie knife. That's, like, the best weapon for us.
Because it's fast and awesome.
And then for like guns, they're still good. The sniper's still good. Don't know why like it's supposed to be a bad weapon.
No, but also I don't know if they're just judging that it would be bad against psychopaths and stuff in the game instead of zombies.
But like even with psychopaths, if you do it right, then yeah, it's pretty damn good if you hit them in the head. But still, just to go off from that, like figuring out what weapons are good against the bosses or just these people, instead of, oh, if you use this weapon, you would go through this psycho in a breeze. Like, this is his weakness. Because I like just discovering this actually works with this person. Because what I noticed was, when I played it again, was Slappy, he gets stunned really quick with the boxing gloves, because I just destroyed him like very quickly with just the gloves.
No, but also it's just like if you played Mega Man for the first time right now, without any of the stuff, even if you like not knowing the actual combination of like, let's see, like what's some of the combinations in the first game?
The first thing for Mega Man is what boss you choose first. Instead of knowing you have to go to Fireman first or something like that. Or Gutsman. To use this power in the next level. And then go off the web.
No, because they're like in each Mega Man game there is a right way to do it, because you go to one of them, which is easy with the blaster, and then you go to the next one and use that like robot master's power against that person, make it easy, or make the stage easier. But then it's not really like you do have some of the experience if you only saw like the path that you were supposed to take. Because it's like, okay, you go this way, but what if you suck at the game and you can't even beat like the first boss? Like you still have an experience, but you're not following someone else's orders, like completely.
Because for me, when I was playing Mega Man X, the first one, I couldn't do it at all. I couldn't defeat any of the bosses, not even like the beginning one for a good while. But for some reason I just gave up on that one, so I went to 2, which I really loved as well. And I actually figured out a lot of things by just trying out each boss or each stage and figure out, oh, if I get this power, I could get this power up within this stage. And I freaking love it even more because I didn't need a guide for it. I actually figured it out on my own. And then going back to what you were saying for Mega Man 1, or around there, when I played it on the PS3, the download one, I only used the Buster for most of them because I didn't really think about it too. Because I do love Mega Man. I have played some of the games. Just, I haven't got that good enough to actually beat one. Because I didn't know like what things are good for these people and all this. Because in X I actually figured that out, like, oh, using the saw on I can't remember, like the Gator guy or one of them, it's actually really good. And using bubbles on another one is perfect instead of using the other ones. Because I like my own experiences for playing games instead of knowing what works for it. Or what someone says and this would work out.
No, because certain games it is good to look at like at least the standard, like what should be done first. Because then the rest of the game you are having your own experience. But then sometimes it does spoil it because like the first act of a game or the first part of a game can be like the biggest part, where it's like in Chrono Trigger you're supposed to go to like the carnival.
Yeah, the first thing is carnival.
Yeah, and most walkthroughs or most like anybody who has played it before will tell you like, oh, all this has to be done this way, or you can do it this way to get this ending, or all that stuff. But if you play it by yourself without knowing any of that stuff, then you don't really know that anything's gonna happen. You didn't know that you had to play all these games or anything like that.
Yeah, if you didn't know like anything about the game and you couldn't get like the first one, so you play the second one, and you don't really know the mechanics or something like that, you're gonna be confused. So yeah, you would like have at least the basic guide, like, okay, you get at least the beginning equipment in this store. That's like the best until you get up to another town or pick it up from a thief or something like that.
Because it's better to use a walkthrough as basically a hint instead of like an actual walkthrough.
Because for me, like, to go back to the Final Fantasy guide thing, in the beginning it gives you like 4 different combinations. Either you want just all fighters, beginner, expert, or just neutral. And then it even says like first go to the stores to give them weapons or at least some magic too, and then you just go off from there. Because that's what I just need to look at or just flip through. Because I just chose like what I liked and then named them whoever. Because guides are good for like just the beginner, But sometimes like the guides could be, oh, you have to do this and this right off the bat, and if you don't do that, this won't happen at all. Instead of you figuring that out by making mistakes or just learning from what happened. Like, you fight a random boss or get just caught up in a huge battle and like, oh, I didn't know what was happening. Like, either you pull it off or you just die and like think it over and see, oh, I did this and it didn't work on this guy. So what if I use a different ability or attack him from behind? And you win. Like having your own experience of figuring out what
making
happens.
up your own strategy instead of someone else telling you what strategy is right.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the guide, the person who wrote it or even said it through a video, instead of like you figuring it out on your own, which is the game or guide of this topic.
But also it's way harder now to actually have your own experience with games, because if you even check any website about gaming, then it will either say like, no, this game is good, this game is bad, oh, there's this secret, oh, this... Like, you get spoiled very easily about basically any game that comes out now, so having your own experience is usually tainted by like, oh, the final boss was this guy the whole time, even if you didn't play the game.
Mm-hmm. Because for YouTube, there is like a lot of the media, like, if there's gonna be a big game that comes out, there's already gonna be, here's all the Easter eggs, there was a secret boss, like, I want to figure those out on my own. Like, I didn't know there was a secret boss until that thumbnail or just in the title saying that. Because it is kind of bad now, and that's why, like, when I come across, like, random games, like, at a Goodwill or a secondhand store, I like to just pick it up and see where that goes, because I haven't heard of it or just haven't seen any playthroughs or anything about it. Because back then it was better, and you would get like the guide or just like hearing the rumors bounce around from like the magazines or just random friends saying, oh, if you do this, this happens, or oh, I heard this happens if you kill this guy or find this one spot in the game. Like the rumor of how to get Mew, or just how to defeat the Elite Four with only a Magikarp or something like that. Having that guide from there, like, oh, I want to do that. So look it up or watch the person do those things.
Like, it's better to make those things into your own experience instead of just following it as their experience, because then you just played a game. You didn't really, like, actually experience the game.
Because for me, for Mega Man, I didn't know about the Buster Run. When I just did it, like, it felt awesome. Like, oh shit, I actually defeated the Robot Masters just with my normal Buster instead of using one of the other Robot Masters. Like, I get getting tongue-tied. Using their abilities to defeat, like, another. And then when I heard it, like, from, like, Aaron saying, try to do, like, a Buster Run with, like, Mega Man X. Like, whoa, that's actually a thing. But even for, like, a guide, there's probably, like, one out there saying how to do a Buster Run perfectly, or how to do this. Like, you go through this level, and if you die, you have to redo the whole thing. Or the whole thing, like, the whole, like, run would be ruined because of that. So you just follow it, or just not do it or something like that with the guide. I don't know, I'm just throwing out random things. But just overall, I still like having my own experience, and I'm saying like a lot.
Yes, it's a common thing, Omar.
But yeah, I still like to play my own way instead of like a guide. Because I still like gaming overall and just watching it on YouTube or just seeing it around. But yeah, I'd rather have my own experience instead of seeing like a guided one. Or having a guided one. Any input?
No. So, yeah, the topic was...
Gamer guide.
Yeah, your own experience or a guided experience. Basically, like, completely your own view on it without any outside input, or having outside input and then experience it.
Don't know how to explain it again, just the guide or... Yeah. Because the guide is still reading it off a web page or getting it off a walkthrough or just watching a let's play. And then just game is your own experience playing that game.
Like a clean run on that game.
Without knowing nothing about it.
Or at least knowing the smallest amount of information about it.
Just the basics.
Of, like, for Mega Man, like, the basics of, like, okay, there's the 8 Robot Masters and your Mega Man. Compared to, you're supposed to go to this boss, and then this boss, and then this boss, and then this boss, and then, like, use these certain powers for these, like, secret things.
And then you'll reach Dr. Wily at the end. Because even for not much about Mega Man, you would probably figure out, like, oh, at the end there's probably, like, a final thing, and it's Dr. Wily. Instead of, like, oh, I already know he's there, and I'm gonna have to fight all the Robot Masters again.
Monsters.
And then probably an extra one, and then Dr. Wily. I like to just know nothing and just go for it. Just play the game.
And still, overall, we're not saying either way is good or bad. We're just comparing the two.
Because it was just bugging me for a bit, so... Yeah. I think that's enough.
Okay.
Well, that was Spudcast. And if you got this far, thank you. And just, if you've been keeping up with our Spudcast, sorry for last month. We didn't have time. And Tony should be in the next one. And yeah, still thank you if you got this far.
Also, if you have any input on this topic, then actually leave a comment, because we actually enjoy seeing even one comment on any video.
Yeah, I would love to hear anyone's input into this. And just say, yeah, I got to the end of the video, or something like that. At least something. So, yeah, see you guys next time.
Bye.
Yeah, hear you guys next time, I don't know.